So this is Judy. She came to me about 6 weeks ago looking for someone to help her transition 100% to a whole food, plant-based, SOS-free lifestyle in order to lose some weight and improve a lot of her biomarkers. She has suffered from a number of different health conditions and felt it was a good time to turn that around.
Hi everyone, I'm Judy. I'm a mom and a grandma and an elderly mom that I do care for. Yeah.
What's your occupation?
Physician recruiter during the day and on weekends. I'm a corporate casual weddings and corporation singer for cover bands, which is quite fun. It doesn't feel like work, but it does help pay for the care, the people that I take care of.
So I know you're out in California. Do you mind telling us your age?
No, I don't. I'm 57.
I still can't believe that.
Next month. Yeah.
That's incredible. What did your typical diet consist of prior to transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet?
I've tried several types of diets. The SAD, which obviously most will start with here, it's the standard American diet. I've tried all protein. I've also tried calorie restriction. And then I've worked with nutritionists. I even worked with a bodybuilder who was also a nutritionist who said he could help me with whole food plant-based. And none of them are sustainable. When you have to eat like 40 ounces of tofu in one sitting, I can't do it. But I've tried drinking it. I've done juicing. I've done fasting. None of them work. That's sustainable.
Right.
They all work to a certain extent.
Immediately prior to coming onto my program, Judy was eating a lot of higher fatty foods, like lots of flax and chia seeds. Although these are very healthy foods, they were still keeping her at a place where she couldn't lose the weight. But she was also indulging in more processed items, things like quinoa puffs and soy curls and things that have that health halo. Like they presume to be healthy because of the way they're marketed in the grocery store. But if you read the packaging and look at the ingredients list, you'll know right away that whether or not they're truly healthy. But she also liked to indulge in many different types of desserts, especially her brownies and her nice creams. What was your primary motivation behind making the plant-based transition, and what results were you hoping to achieve?
A couple of years ago, they found a mass in the middle of my liver, and it's life-threatening, so they had to remove it, but they didn't know if I was going to survive. Obviously, I survived, and everything was good after, but then a couple weeks later, they rechecked it, and there was another growth, but not life-threatening. That's one of the reasons for the whole food plant-based, no salt, oil, sugar, because I don't want to get to a point where I do have to have surgery. My husband of 30 years, whom I love so much, he said, if this is important to you, it's important to me. So there's several motivations here.
Yeah, her husband and children, as well as her grandchild, also do not eat the way she does. So it can be very difficult living in a household that eats a completely different diet than you do. Let's all commend Judy for that. We already mentioned she wanted to be 100% whole food, plant-based, and SOS free. She was having difficulty implementing that on her own. But she also wanted to reduce her meds and her troublesome biomarkers. So could you explain about your bariatric surgery a little bit?
Yes. So over 10 years ago, I had so much of an addiction to the food that they felt the best move would be for me to have a gastric bypass. At my heaviest, I was 275, and I will always yo-yo those last 50 pounds, 40 to 50 pounds, and I don't want to do that no more because that's just as dangerous for your health. So what happens when you go through a gastric bypass, they basically bypass 15 feet of your intestines, and the size of your stomach is made into the size of like an egg. So you can't eat as much. You feel the sensation of being full faster. And you know, there's certain things you no longer want to be able to eat. And they tell me that you do have to take multivitamins for the rest of your life and iron. And the only thing I'm taking now is the D3 and B12 because I did all my lab tests, and it's the best that it's been in the last decade.
Judy just had her labs taken on September 2nd, so she is keeping her doctor well informed while she's on this program so he can check her blood pressure and her different biomarkers, including her nutrient levels. So as she mentioned, she was taking a calcium supplement as well as an iron supplement coming into the program. But within a matter of a couple weeks, Judy was already off of those and completely getting all of her nutrition as necessary through her food. So what does a typical day's worth of meals look like today?
A lot of colors in comparison to how I used to eat. From the breakfast could be my groats with these vibrant colored berries, and then my greens, of course. I typically do that at lunch with my colorful. There's red, purple, oranges from bell peppers or cabbage, and the fiber and nutrient-filled different legumes and grains. I just made me, I batch prep my tricolored quinoa, and it's pretty amazing. I've never had that many colors I was eating all at once, and it's good.
So obviously you enjoy this food. Are you finding the meals to be satisfying though? So many people have this misconception that they will constantly be starving on a plant-based diet.
No, the only now sensations when it comes to my eating habits, I used to have sensations of all these cravings or that I have to have something. Even after I ate it, I felt like I had to have more. Now the only sensation I have is hunger and fullness. That's it. I didn't think that was possible, to be honest with you. I thought there was, of course I'll miss some of the socialization aspects when I'm sharing new things that everyone's trying. But what's taken the place of that is when people see my food, they wonder what that is, and they taste mine and actually like it. So yeah, that's the sensations that I feel now is hunger and fullness. And I might add that my taste buds are heightened now. I can really taste all my food. Like, I know not everyone's been pregnant, but like when I was pregnant, everything smelled and tasted more like heightened. It was stronger tasting to me. So it's not covered up by all that salt, oil, or sugar. Yes. And so it's pretty amazing. I love what I'm tasting. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that how it really tastes?
Yes.
Is that how a green bean really tastes? Or it's not covered up.
I love that comparison to being pregnant. I could not say it any more perfectly myself. That's exactly what it feels like.
Well, you know what I mean, because you've had a baby.
Right. But people think about missing out on their salty or their fatty or their sugary foods, and they think that food is never going to amount to that level of flavor again. But what they don't understand is how much those things are actually blunting your ability to taste the deliciousness and the subtlety in the natural foods that you could be tasting. So I'm so glad you brought that up, Judy. What noticeable health changes have you experienced in your health thus far?
Lots. I'm kind of finding out lots as I keep going. So obviously what's really important to me is that I can think clearly, and I was having a lot of brain fog, and I noticed if I ate certain things, like the more processed things, I would get it, even with the plant-based processed things. So thinking more clearly, more energy, and that freedom, feeling that freedom from my dopamine addictions to salt, oil, and sugar. I didn't know I had that. And it was apparent in my first week. I was going through withdrawals, I had the headaches, and it was harder than I thought. I thought it was going to be easy because I had started, most of the whole food plant-based and the oil, but I didn't know I was that hooked on salt and sugar. And then I'm not having to worry about, my meds. I don't have to take meds or more vitamins anymore because it's coming in through what I eat. And of course, not worrying about my diabetes, even when I'm eating these whole fruits. It was pretty amazing because I thought my A1C, which is what they use to measure your blood glucose levels in your system, was going to be the worst that it's been because I had been eating more fruits. And actually, it's the best that it's been in the last decade.
Isn't that incredible?
Normal. It's normal.
It shows how hard you've been working.
And so I doubt that I'll ever have to take medication for my type 2 diabetes. Yeah, it's type 2, so I got it right after my second pregnancy.
Judy was also able to safely drop her ACE inhibitor and her diuretic through her doctor's orders within 2 weeks of eating this way. That is incredible. She had had troubles with her blood pressure for a number of years, and it took 2 weeks to get off of those medications. That's pretty impressive, Judy.
And I'm sure it's helping my liver. I'm
Right.
sure it is.
Right.
It's less than it has the filter and the multivitamins and the iron and all that extra stuff that they told me I would have to take the rest of my life. I don't have to.
So Judy's actually being modest because she has lost 17 pounds in 5 weeks. So way to go, Judy. Her skin is obviously radiant. She noticed improvements in her skin within about 3 to 4 weeks. Now there was a confounding factor. Within the 3rd week on this program, she had horrible sciatica pain from an old injury she sustained in a car accident, but her doctor prescribed her some muscle relaxers, so she was very out of it for a number of weeks, just in a lot of pain and unable to really sustain normal daily functioning. So even working through all that pain, she has maintained her progress throughout this situation and maintained her diet and continued to reap the benefits. So again, good job, Judy.
Thank you. I couldn't do this without you, Karli. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome. You've done an incredible job, Judy. She got her labs back on the 2nd, which was maybe a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. Her cholesterol levels, her triglycerides, her A1C, her calcium, her iron, everything is back to those normal levels. The A1C is still slightly over the mark, but we're working on it, right, Judy?
It's only 0.3 away, and I'm going to get it this time.
Yep.
The next time I have to do it. Yeah.
You bet. I bet it's probably already there since you checked. That was, a few weeks ago. If you find yourself struggling with this transition or losing those excess pounds, make sure you click my link in the description box below and schedule a free 45-minute consultation with me so we can get started on your health journey. What were the major challenges that you took on during this transition so far?
So it's time management, but you totally helped me with that with your hacks. So anywhere from using the 40-cup container for getting my green salads together and everything that I like in that, and then batch cooking. Then of course the tools like the Instapot or the Breville oven, and the right blender and the right knives and things like that. How helpful that was. It just didn't think I'd find the time, but it's actually an easier way when you're eating this way, and I don't have to buy all these cans. I didn't know the Instapot did what it did, and because all the canned beans have so much salt, at least at the grocery stores I've gone to, even the ones with low sodium still have salt, so it's been easy for me. Twice a week I batch cook and batch prep my salad, and it's been legumes, grains, and all of that, and it's ready for me. And you don't have to prep other than wash your fruits. I mean, really. So it's really easy. I pack my meals when I go to my second job.
Tell us a little bit about the complications you have with your gastric pouch. Is it difficult maintaining this lifestyle when you can only eat little bits at a time?
Yeah, at times I found that, of course you find when there's a will, there's a way. When it's like the raw cruciferous type vegetables, it's harder for me to eat the amount that I need to eat. But when I boil them or steam them, it's much easier. It doesn't hurt my palate because it's softer. And when you're eating mechanically soft, it goes through your stomach much easier. And you still feel satisfied. It doesn't just slip right through. Because as any person, whether you're bariatric or not, you should chew your food a lot, before you swallow it. And that's what we do, And it does take a little more time, especially with the greens. But it's like I feel like I'm snacking, which is like a treat. That's the only challenge I've found is, and if I'm in a rush, you have these smoothies. You created these great green smoothies, and I just drink it. You get all your greens in through the drinking.
So what about those late night gigs and the late night eating you used to do? How have we been able to overcome that?
As band members, we get to sometimes eat, for the most part, eat what these Zagat Michelin rated chefs fix for the guest. And the part I miss is getting to share with the rest of the band, the oohing and ahhing. But when I pack mine, as I said, I'm still just as satisfied. I don't have no cravings anymore. So I just look at it. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks like they did a great job. And I just let one of the guys eat it. They'll taste my food, and they actually like my food better sometimes. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with it, my food. So yeah, because even if they do a vegetarian or a vegan meal for you, there's all this oil and all this salt. They always put salt, unless it's the appetizers. So if they do the appetizers with raw fruit and veggies, that's my meal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my strategy. I just fill up my entire plate with those raw fruits and veggies. Everybody looks at me like I'm crazy, but I don't care.
Yeah, it works.
How are your cravings for these processed and animal foods, and how does that compare to the initial weeks on the program?
Totally obliterated. I used to have them prior, but it's totally gone. I don't crave or miss it. It's the socialization missing part of it that I have. It's not the actual food, but it was hard.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes. It was
sugar. I'm not gonna lie about that. Especially the first week, I had the headache, and I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know I was that sick. And I was never the type to add more sugar. It was just what was there, or add more salt. It was whatever was already in the meals. You live through it. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, but you live through it, and you're all the more better after, because you're not going to feel those cravings anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it in front of me now. Some of my family members will try to do that, but you got to taste it. And I feel I don't want it. I don't want to feel like I used to feel. I love how I feel now.
That's amazing, Judy. Yeah, we actually only crave for salt, sugar, and fatty foods. So if you remove those, you remove the cravings. It's pretty incredible. But also what I wanted to say about the salt, the hidden salt that you kept having in your diet, that Judy would message me throughout the first couple of weeks of the program. Karli, can I have this? Can I have that? Are you sure I can't have a little bit of this once in a while? But convincing her to maintain SOS free, especially in the beginning of this transition, is so important so you can get through the withdrawal process. If you keep one foot in both worlds, you're never going to appreciate either of them, and you're just going to be miserable. But being on blood pressure medication and having all this additional salt in your diet is really detrimental to your health. I'm sure you can attest. So being able to recognize all those different sources and removing them has been very instrumental in your success, I feel. Judy was particularly lucky in this sense. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everybody can get off salt, sugar, and oil in 2 weeks. That is incredibly impressive. It all depends on your physiology and your genetics and how long you've been on these foods and to what extent you used to eat them. I used to eat sugar literally as a food group for breakfast, lunch, and dinner my entire life. So it took me a good 6 to 9 months to finally rid myself of these cravings. Yes, they were way more severe in the beginning, but it took me that long to finally feel clear-headed. And when you do get rid of those cravings, it is just the most priceless sensation, because you are no longer consumed by these ridiculous thoughts of food. When am I going to eat next? Where did I hide this? Ooh, my boyfriend just got some more Reese's peanut butter cups. When should I go eat those? It's just non-stop. So having a clear mind, able to think about normal, pleasurable things that also bring us dopamine, like connections with wonderful people and going for walks and sunsets and just being able to enjoy those normal things now that my dopamine is all in a normal cascade, it has just been priceless. It's a beautiful thing, huh, Judy?
Yes, and to know that you have better chances to be around longer to enjoy all of those things. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the hardest food for you to give up?
Can I say SOS again? So I didn't know. I knew I was stuck on oil because of my cultural food. But I found recipes even for my cultural food now where you don't have to have any of that. Mm-hmm. Because I love eggplant and all of that. Yep. Now I can enjoy it without any of that and just vinegar and garlic, and I'm happy.
I love that you're learning to adapt these recipes to your new preferences. It's such an important skill. So, do you see yourself maintaining this lifestyle long term?
Yes, for the first time out of many things that I've tried in my almost going to be 6 decades in my life. Yes, even with everything that I juggle in my life. Like everybody, we all juggle things. And that used to be my default, to my excuse that, oh, it didn't work because I have too many things going on. That's not an excuse anymore. Not with the tools and hacks you've shared. And I continue to find other places to, this is what I want now. I love the way I feel. I don't want to go back. And I'm excited about where I'll be even a year from now. Real excited about that. And jogging with my grandchildren. I don't want to be one of those grandmothers just sitting there. I want him to wear a shirt that says, my grandma can lift weights heavier than your grandma. Or something like that.
I'm going to find you that shirt. Explain what you typically do for exercise right now.
I can only really just do walking and whatever my physical therapist gives me. So that's what I've been doing. I'm doing 10,000 or more steps a day. When I perform, it's an easy 15 to 17,000 steps a day. But that's pretty much all I do.
What's so impressive is that you've been able to accomplish all this weight loss with just walking. People think they have to kill themselves in the gym.
All the time because of the pain, but
right, and that was my second point. You haven't even been doing your walking because of your sciatica. Isn't that incredible?
You're like you told me, it's like 80%.
Yeah.
Of what it is what you eat. So it's proof. I mean, I know it's proof.
It's pretty impressive. Doing a tiny bit of walking every now and then and losing 20 pounds in 6 weeks is pretty impressive. What advice would you give to someone considering this transition to a whole food, plant-based lifestyle?
I finally found a way. After all this searching, I found Karli. So, you deserve the best, to be the best version of yourself. And this whole food, plant-based lifestyle has a snowball effect. So for all that you do and try to accomplish, it just is a positive snowball effect. The bonus is that you tend to inspire those that are around you to do the same. Even if it's just a small change, it's still a small change. And sometimes, the best for you can be very challenging to start with. Rip Esselstyn, who's the son of Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, author of Preventing and Reversing Heart Disease, described himself as being a crusader to rescue the world. And I believe that we can all be crusaders just by changing what we eat, whether it's partially whole food plant-based or fully whole food plant-based. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it if you go the fully whole food plant-based, no salt, oil, or sugar, because you're going to feel the best that you've ever felt, honestly. And if it's just for that reason, I think it's the way to go. You deserve to be the best version. Everybody does. And Karli, you're godsend. Thanks for making it happen for me.
You're so kind, Judy.
You were hard to find. I finally found you.
You're so wonderful. I couldn't have asked for anything more in a client. Judy, thank you so much. We will certainly catch up with you in 6 weeks and hopefully down the road. Keep in touch, okay?
Yes. Thanks, Karli.
You're so welcome.